Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thanks so much for stopping by and checking out today's video. My name is Ashley and today's video is going to be my homeschool Q2 update. So if you're new to my channel, because I have had a lot of new subscribers, I just want to say welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I am a homeschooling mom to 4. And I share a lot about our homeschooling journey here on my channel. So for this Q2 update, I actually did make some notes right here, this top section, of some things that I wanted to update you guys on. Also, I did film a Q1 update for this homeschool year, and I did get quite a few similar questions, so I kind of am going to answer a few of those questions within this Q2 update. So our curriculum is a 36-week curriculum. And even though we do homeschool year round now, we are done with week 18. So that means we're halfway through the school year, which is so exciting because it's not even January and we're already halfway done. And on that note of mentioning that I do homeschool year round, I just think that it's so awesome that I have taken off 4 full weeks since we started school again in July, meaning when I changed over materials and new grade level work and things like that. I made that switch in July. And we have taken off 4 full weeks since then, from July till December, mid-December when I'm filming this video, and we're already halfway done. So we are on target to finish at the very beginning of May, and that is also going to include a few other weeks sprinkled out throughout there. So I'm really excited about that. This was our first year transitioning into a year-round homeschooling schedule, and it is probably my top 5 favorite thing about my homeschool this year. That change was so good. So on the note of changing schedules and things like that, I wanted to touch on my day of the week schedule for homeschool. Basically, I did get quite a few questions about this, and so I wanted to answer it, also kind of give you an update on it. So I schedule out our work, like our full homeschool day, meaning all of our reading from our Sunlight readers and like our history, our science, all that stuff, Bible, in combination with my children's independent seated work. To me, in my homeschool, that is a complete homeschool day when all those things are done. So all of the reading and then all of their individual studies on math and writing and spelling and all those things. So that's a total homeschool day. I always plan for a 4-day week, and that always leaves me 1 extra day during the week as a buffer. So if I need to read a little bit more, I throw it in on that day. If we need to do math because we needed to run an errand and we didn't get to math, I throw it in on that day. So it's kind of like my catch-all day. But I also have activities and things that we only do on the 5th day. Things like Mad Libs and art and some other critical thinking type books and like playing games. Educational games together. Those are the things that I incorporate on that 5th day. And sometimes at the beginning of the school year, I planned on our 5th day being Thursday because that's also our homeschool park day. But I have had to move it to other days. And so that is kind of something I wanted to update you guys on. For my Q2 homeschool update is that my 5th day has kind of moved around. It's not consistently on Thursday anymore, but it's still working really well to only schedule my kids and myself 4 days on our schedule. And you can buy Sunlight as a 4-day program. So I just wanted to update you guys on that. I personally think it's very wise to only schedule 4 days of work, in my opinion. Another question that I got asked and continue to get asked is how long does it take me to homeschool? So I want to give you an update for Q2 because in the beginning of the school year, you're reviewing just like you would in public school. The first few months of school are really a review and a recap of what you learned the previous year. Homeschool is no different other than like the literature portion, you are reading new books. So at the beginning of the school year, when we transitioned over all of our materials, everyone was probably working a little more quickly because it was all stuff that they had pretty much seen before as far as math and things like that go. They were reading new books, but you get my point. So now for quarter two, we're midway through our year, so now we're learning new concepts, we're building on our knowledge, and if I were to put all of it together consecutively, I am still able to complete a full homeschool day, which I already told you what that means to me, between 3.5, sometimes 4 for my older kids, hours total. So it really just depends on what they're working on, but we are definitely done with everything in 3 hours usually. So that, in my opinion, is a great amount of time considering I am homeschooling 4 kids. But I wanted to update you guys on that. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we've had 4 weeks off since we started school and changed over our stuff in July and transitioned into a year-round schedule. I wanted to touch on this again because I cannot stress it enough. This has literally been one of the best things that I have done since I started homeschooling. Like, it has changed so much. Mostly it's just taken away all of the self-pressure, and it's been amazing. So like, I cannot emphasize it enough. It has made a huge difference in my kids' lives, my life, everything. It's just been so great. Another thing that I wanted to touch on in this update, and I think I mentioned this last year, and I know I'm kind of crazy, but it's like the midway year, and I already start thinking about next homeschool year, because, you know, we're halfway through the year, and so if things aren't working, or I like it, or I don't like it, I start to ponder these things. I'm not changing anything mid-year. Everything will stay the same until we are done, but I will be making some changes again for next year. But I do have a question for you. If you're watching this and you homeschool a middle school aged child, please tell me what math program you are using down in the comments below for middle school only. So 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I would love to hear what you're using and loving in your homeschool. Another little update is I asked my husband for a desk for the homeschool room for myself for Christmas. I do not have a desk in our homeschool space. I usually just pull up a chair in between my younger 2 kiddos' desks, but I have wanted my own desk for quite some time, and it's just never been a priority because, you know, desks are expensive and there's always something else to buy. But I did ask him and he did order the desk I want. So I will have a desk in my homeschool space for our second half of the school year, and I'm really excited. Let me know if you guys want to see my desk and see what I put on my desk. I'll be happy to show you. And then the last thing I want to update you guys on, I mentioned in my quarter 1 update. If you haven't watched that, I'll link it across the screen. I can't ever remember which side it's on. But I mentioned that my youngest daughter, so she's in kindergarten, is starting to read, and she is. And that is another one of, remember I said the homeschool year-round thing, teaching kiddos to read is another one of those like highlights of the homeschool year. But I got a lot of questions on what do I use to teach to read. Now, I don't use a reading program. What I use is basically in their preschool age years, I taught her letter recognition, and we started to touch on sounds a little bit. Not too much. So she could say her ABCs, recognize all of her letters. I worked on that last year in preschool. So this year, to teach her to read, and this is also what I use to teach my child number 3 to read as well, is all about spelling, Explode the Code, and Bob Books. I put those 3 together, and that is my own reading program, teach to read program. I just find that it works really, really well, and it's working. So that's how I teach my kids to read, using those 3 things: all about spelling, Bob Books, and Explode the Code. I will link those down in the description box if you're a mom of younger kiddos and you're going to start teaching your kids how to read. Those 3 things, just a page or 2 a day, one little reader. I give her a reader, the same reader, all week long. And that's important to do because when you're learning how to read, it's very important that you build your confidence. And so the first few days it's kind of challenging for her because it's a new reader, but then she starts to remember the words, and that is a big part of reading. It's not always challenging your reader so much that they're like, they can't read it. That doesn't bring enjoyment. So she gets the same reader all week long. She reads it Monday through Friday, and then the next week we get a new one. So that's kind of how I teach reading. So that is going to be it for this homeschool Q2 update. We are halfway done. So excited. I will definitely update you guys on Q3 and then as we wrap up our year, of course. So like I said, down in the comments below, let me know if you homeschool a middle schooler, what math program you're using, and if you guys have any more questions for me, as always, post them down below. And if you really like these updates, please give this a thumbs up. It really does support my channel, and it costs you nothing but a quick little second with your finger, and I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.